Hello, this is Dr. Jason Munsell. It is about 8:15 Saturday morning, February the 18th, and I hope that you're doing well. I owe you a lecture here, and I'm drinking my delightful coffee. Delightful. What I'm going to focus on here is just Chapter 8. I'll let you read some of the other stuff on your own. But I really like this chapter, personal relationships and computer-mediated support groups. And by the way, I also really like your papers. I've gotten through about half of them, I think, and I'll try to get through the rest of them today and tomorrow. Just takes me some time to get through, and stupid me, I also have papers due in all of my classes. So files and files to read. But in any case, bear with me, and I also put a new thread up, forum up for you all to do, and thanks again for those folks who are doing their professional emails. I'm really enjoying reading your reflections and what you have learned, and you are learning stuff. It's great, and I'd like to see the application that you've been doing in the threads and in the emails, and as well the paper. And remember to tweet. I'm enjoying all the various tweets and everything like that. So keep on keeping on. Go team. Go koalas. Okay, so computer-mediated communication when it comes to support groups and personal relations. I like this chapter. It's good stuff. It starts by talking about how people are indeed, and this links back also to the stuff in Chapter 5 about how folks with high communication apprehension oftentimes use CMC in ways that they are almost unable to in a face-to-face setting. So a lot of people reach out and try to get support through the internet, through CMC. Unless it's CNN, I guess you can get support through CNN. I'm not quite sure. But in any case, so a lot of folks particularly are looking for support when it comes to health concerns, or whatever that might be. All sorts of things going on there. And there has been quite a bit of research on it. And of course, the stuff that your book offers is a little bit out of date. But they said in 2002, and that was a hell of a long time ago, 90 million Americans were part of some online support group, and 1 in 4 sought out advice for some sort of disease. I want more information about the cooties. Okay, so I have found updated stuff. It's from 2013, but I searched, and this was like the latest information I could find. So again, this is from the Pew Research Center, and this is what it says as of February the 12th, 2013. So it says 59% of U.S. adults have looked online for health information in the past year. So 60%, basically, if you round up, because it's fun. 35% of U.S. adults say they have used the internet to try to figure out what medical condition they or another may have. We call them online diagnosers. What do I have? I have a stomachache. What is it? It's a tumor. It's not a tumor. Kindergarten cop. Arnold Schwarzenegger. 53% of online diagnosers talked with a clinician about what they found online. So I know some doctors, so it's like you get 53% of folks going in and saying, well, WebMD said this. 41% of online diagnoses had their condition confirmed by a clinician. So 41% say, yeah, WebMD was right. Do we even need doctors? 7 in 10 U.S. adults keep track of a health indicator, so self-tracking, whatever that might be. I mean, there's lots of like food things, or how many steps you take. There's like the MyFitnessPal type thing. I you know, it's you can plug in what you eat and everything like that, and a lot of things have already been sort of plugged in by various users, or so it tells you exactly how many calories and how much, all the nutritional stuff. Sometimes I'll put in there just random stuff to see if other people have already, you know, figured out how many calories such and such is, like squirrel, roadkill. Once, just because I thought it would be funny, put in, you know, a booger, and apparently a booger is 20 calories. Who knew? But it didn't. I guess I don't know all the other. Is it fiber or protein? I don't know. And coffee is good. Okay, and then half of those who track health indicators do so in their head. I don't know what that means. Oh, I skipped something. 60% of U.S. adults say they track their weight, diet, or exercise routine. 1/3 of U.S. adults track health indicators such as blood pressure, blood sugar, headaches, or sleep patterns. Half of those folks track them in their heads. I guess other people track them in different places. I don't know. So, okay, I know generally what my blood pressure is. I know generally what my cholesterol is, blah, blah. I keep it right in there. Peer-to-peer healthcare among online health information seekers. 16% in the past year tried to find others who might share their same health concerns. 30% of internet users have consulted online reviews or rankings of healthcare services or treatments. And then 26% of internet users have read or watched someone else's experience about health or medical issues in the past year. And then you can read this, but it's just really, really interesting. And this peer-to-peer healthcare sort of gets, I think, to the social support type of stuff. But long story short, tons of folks are using the internet when it comes to issues of health. Okay, so we've got that data. So basically, it's just talking about how CMC provides, or this chapter is talking about CMC provides a new, arena for folks to seek out and have supportive relationships when it comes to these types of issues. And they can augment, the book says, or actually replace traditional face-to-face support. And then, this chapter has a big literature review, has a nice little preview, as every paper or chapter ought to have at the bottom page, whatever page this is, 137. And I'll let you read that. But, it's good stuff. And then it has a longer sort of review of literature, and it actually labels it review of literature. Just by the way, is what the slide says. If you don't know what a review of literature is, it's a review of literature. But the literature ain't no like Shakespeare or something like that. It is scholarly, peer-reviewed research that has been in particular journals or books or whatever. So it's scholarly stuff, studies. It ain't, Southern Living or the National Enquirer or the National Geographic or anything like that. It's peer-reviewed, scholarly stuff. Okay, so another abbreviation. Awesome. What is CMSS? I don't know. Yes, I do. Computer-Mediated Support Sites. Right? Is that right? Where are you? You can't find it now. Computer-Mediated Social Support. That's how I'm wrong. CMSS. Computer-Mediated Social Support. And it can be, again, both asynchronous, out of time, not dun 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 dun, and then, asynchronous is out of time, synchronous is in time. So sometimes back and forth, live chat type stuff. But so we got news groups, listservs, all these things out there that you can go see. And, a lot of it's problematic, but, and so folks get informational support generally. That's what the research says. So I need more information about such and such. Emotional support, seeking out other people who've gone through the same things. Appraisal, like, what do I have? And then instrumental, how do I fix it? And all this is sort of contextualized through a very Western sciencey way of looking at healthcare in the first place. We'll talk about that later, maybe, I don't know. But so that's some of the research that's been done. Then they start talking about social capital. You know what social capital is? I'll tell you. It's resources embedded in a social structure that are accessed and or mobilized in purposive actions. God, why do these people get right? What? So basically, it's just like capital. I mean, it's like this asset, stuff that you have. So look at this. I am rich. Ew. See? Feed me money. Hello. But in any case, it's just, it's capital. So I have, the more money I have, okay, cool, I can buy more groceries or more biscuits. And the more social capital I have, all that stuff is great, because the more social, particularly on online support, there might be emotional and psychological benefits to that. The more social support I have, the more capital I have. That's cool. That's pretty much it. So research has been done on that. So we see research on CMSS. We see research on social capital. And then it talks about some of the stuff that's been going on so far as all the different channels, which are, sometimes problematic. It talks about the media richness theory, and we've talked about that before. But just, there's some of this, what is best, and I think that it's some either or thinking, like teleconferencing versus face-to-face. It's always contextual. But, I do like, and it also moves to online close relationships. But the last part of the section of that first section on channels, I think is really, really important on page 139. I starred this. Later, CMC research supported the idea that satisfying interpersonal relationships can develop through computer-mediated interactions, no doubt. Today, evidence from a variety of research programs suggests that computer-mediated support groups are an important resource for supplementing supportive relationships, especially in cases where people are geographically separated from these traditional sources of social support. So again, face-to-face support is not always the best type of support. Sometimes you need support via CMC, particularly in certain contexts, like if the support is not geographically there. So again, also remember, this is just a bunch of research. They're throwing all this research out that's been done about issues of health and support and everything like that, and with very little transitions. Okay. The next little section on page 139, interpersonal concerns and online close relationships, just talks a little bit about the process of seeking face-to-face support, and doing all that is somewhat, sometimes can be difficult. Sometimes it's actually easier to do stuff, more efficient to do stuff via CMC. And it talks about why some of this stuff is difficult. Blah, 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 blah. All these people, findings from a variety of research programs suggest that many individuals find it difficult to obtain appropriate support from friends and family, since they may feel these potential sources of support lack experience or have limited information about certain problems. Some go on the internet because those people all have experience. Furthermore, many people may feel uncomfortable discussing their problems with members of their close face-to-face support network for a variety of other reasons, such as a desire to avoid feeling stigmatized, patronized, or being judged when discussing sensitive topics. So again, people oftentimes seek out that type of support that they can't get face-to-face via CMC and the random sea of people out there. It also talks about issues of role obligations. It refers to the idea that we sometimes feel obligated to support our loved ones, even during times when we may not necessarily want to help them due to our own concerns. And sometimes that can lead to resentment. So again, another reason why people oftentimes seek out support via CMC, and this whole idea of reciprocity